Hey guys, it's Victoria Sinis. Welcome back to the Creating Gems podcast. We are in our very special America tour debriefs. And so now we're almost at the end of this tour, which is so sad. We are in Arizona now. And Arizona, I was actually speaking at a conference called Will You Be Made Whole Conference with a ministry called the Wisdom Pearl. And oh my gosh, I love Arizona. I flippin' love Arizona. It is so pretty. I feel that it's like out of a storybook. It makes no sense to me how beautiful Arizona is. I'll be honest with you guys. But anyways, I would love to go back and just tourist there. So again, if you guys are from Arizona or if you have any recommendations of things that you think would be super fun as a tourist to do in Arizona, please let me know because I'm really sad that I didn't get to, super explore it. I was staying in Phoenix. I did get to go to Scottsdale, but anyways, that's not the point of this. Is to tell you about the tour. But I spoke at this conference called the Will You Be Made Whole conference, and really fun. It was really interesting. It was a non-denominational conference, but the main denomination who were running the conference was Seventh-day Adventists, and I didn't really know anything about them, to be honest with you. But it was really cool to learn about Seventh-day Adventists, and I think the biggest takeaway from me from this specific denomination, and it's actually something that I really implement now too. Um, God since January has really been showing me the importance of Sabbath and resting and operating from a place of rest. And a scripture that was given that really has impacted me in like this mentorship group that I'm in was about in the garden, it's that we're to tend, not to toil. And so, if we believe that when we become realigned with Christ and our identity is restored and the old becomes the new, well, then I guess the way that we were kind of talking about it was, well, then do we revert back to our original design? And so, one of the original designs was to be in the garden and to be tending with God, not to be toiling and striving. And it really impacted me and stayed with me of the heart posture that I want to operate in is one of tending and not toiling. So a big part of that is operating from rest. And well, how do you rest on the Sabbath? And it actually says in scripture that he made like the seventh day holy. And that's what I learned from one of the gentlemen at the conference who was a 7 day Adventist. It wasn't pick a random day and let that be your rest day, but it said the seventh day was made holy for rest. So I still don't really understand what I think about it fully, but I just find it peculiar that God says that there was a day for us to rest, and He actually made that rest day holy. So it's something that I really am protective of is my Sabbath and of rest and operating from a place of rest. And I'm not perfect at it, but I do think it is incredibly important. And it's so countercultural in a world that screams hustle culture, striving, building, self gain, to say that I'm going to operate from a place of rest and take it slow. Because again, it's not by might nor by power, but it's by the Spirit of God. And it's just a very strong way that I want to hopefully be able to operate for many, many, many years to come. So that was really cool to learn about that. 7 day Adventists don't drink coffee, which is I respect so much. I love coffee. I'm from Melbourne. What do you expect? And I'm half Greek. We love coffee. Super interesting though, and they're really into their health. So it's just so cool to learn about, the ways that they believe that God created so many things for us and for our health. And it was really cool. And Charlie Kirk was speaking at the same conference, and so that was cool that I got to, be on the same stage as such an influential and important figure in history. I think he is such an influential character that will be talked about for many, many decades to come. Charlie Kirk, and so I felt really honored and privileged that I got to speak at the same event as someone of that caliber, and even the other people that were there were just people who were, I guess, generals in the faith and have been around for a very long time. So to be doing this professionally for not even a year and to be in these places and spaces, it's only God. And I felt very humbled and very honored to be there. And it was so cool again listening to Charlie, and he was talking about the importance of Sabbath. And he said that, guys, I miss calls from the president because of Sabbath, and I turned my phone off. So you are not too important. to not be able to have a Sabbath and to not be able to switch your phone off and rest. If I can do it, trust me, you can do it. And so I just think it's such a beautiful lesson to be reiterated, of the importance of Sabbath. And I do believe that God really cares about Sabbath and having rest. And yeah, so it was just really sweet, the conference. I got interviewed by a gentleman named Michael Carducci, who was a beautiful story of um, was gay and I believe transgendered, and came to the Lord. And so he really gets to minister and speak with a lens of that to a lot of that community and comes at it with a lot of love. So that's really special. And then I went on a documentary, which is super fun, which I think is going to be on Netflix, but I could be wrong. So that could either be a big fat lie or it's the truth. One or the other. I can't remember. But with an organization called All Girls Aloud, and that was a really fun documentary, again, just talking about the inner workings of an OnlyFans agency and basically the reality of what is happening behind the scenes and how this is impacting multi-generations. And yeah, again, the actionable, palatable, and tangible steps that we're able to take to be able to see this be a thing of the past. So that was really, really fun. And then it was so sweet. I made friends with my Uber driver. Uber driver ministries is one of my favorite things on the planet ever. And it's literally getting into an Uber and having a good old chat with your Uber driver and seeing where it ends you up. And I got to make friends with one of my Uber drivers in Arizona. And turns out she was a single mom recently, not recently, but was sober. And being sober was one of like the biggest accomplishments of her life. And she was so proud of it. And you can see that. And it was just so encouraging. And yeah, 3 children, I'm pretty sure, and does it all on her own and works really hard and just was able to buy a house and is trying to maintain that with the bills. And so we went out to lunch in Scottsdale to this little French place. What was it called, guys? It was amazing. If you ever go to Arizona, it was called Arcadia Farms. Oh my gosh, it was insane. And she got a cake. And I thought that was such a bougie move to literally just buy a cake and eat that. But yeah, it was so exceptional and really, really fun to be in conference world and yeah, to be able to speak about this, be interviewed for it, being in that place and space just around that type of caliber of people was really, really fun. And again, just a God thing, how it happened. I didn't pitch myself. I just got an email asking if I would be interested as the people who ran it saw, I think, an article or saw my work to some capacity. And so again, just the kindness of the Lord to open up these doors. And it's not to be able to promote me, but it's because he really cares about this problem. God cares about this. And he doesn't care about this because he's some cosmic dictator, but it's because these women are valuable to him, and the way that the porn industry is destroying people and hurting people, he cares about it. And so that's why he's platformed this story, because the people that it can impact and affect, and hopefully for the better, is important to God, and being able to help people see that there is so much redemption and again the reality of what is happening behind the scenes, so people can be educated and equipped in a time of so much deception. So yeah, again, it was just a really big reiteration that it's not my life, but it's God's story. And just to feel really humbled and really filled with joy and gratitude that he chose me to steward this story, and experience the things that I have to be able to, yeah, show the goodness of God and show how glorious he is and how magnificent he is and his forgiveness. And he's just unfailing love. So yeah, that was Arizona and almost the end of the tour, guys. So come back for part, who knows now, 7 or 8, as we close out our USA tour. So thanks, I'll see you for the next one.